Felix here, guys, and we're talking Coinbase. We're going to talk not just about the hype and the news. We're actually going to look at the valuation. We're going to look at the technical analysis. We're going to see where is there a good entry or exit point into this. And I'm going to tell you at the end where I'm going to buy, because I'm going to buy Coinbase on Monday. And I'm going to tell you what my strategy is for that. So let's get straight to it. Let's get straight to the details, guys. As always, this is not financial advice. It's just entertainment only. And if you know me, you also know I've donated $690 over the last 2 months to animal sanctuaries here. These fluffy creatures, the farm sanctuary is our one for this month. So if you hit the like button, I'll donate 1 cent to the farm sanctuary. And that should add up to substantially more than $300 this month. So keep smashing that like button, guys. And thank you for that. Now we have, of course, fantastic news coverage here. This is all just today. Coinbase rallies as Wall Street optimism bucks Bitcoin's trend. ARK buys another $64 million in Coinbase shares, selling, yes, 99.5 million of Tesla shares. They're not giving up on Tesla. I think they're still having a massive amount of Tesla, but they're just using that cash to go into Coinbase. And again, we're going to discuss exactly why Coinbase is the best way to play the Bitcoin boom, says Barron's, and blockchain.com considers a public listing, inspired perhaps by that valuation. I certainly think so. So again, we have, of course, been discussing a great deal of this over on the Discord channel as well. We have a crypto channel in there as well, among all the equity channels. So I encourage you to check that out. Where are we going to start? Well, we're going to start with our valuation, which I've put over on our Patreons, guys. So if you want to join that, go below. I'll show you how to join it at the end as well. And I have a valuation model, and I think the most sensible way of valuing a company this young is a revenue multiplier. That's also what we look at for growth stocks. And how do we get there? Well, look at Q1 results for 2021. They had a total revenue of $1.8 billion and an astonishing EBITDA, earnings before interest, tax tax and depreciation, amortization of approximately 1.1 billion. So that's like 70% EBITDA margin. Absolutely incredibly fantastic. And compare that to the full year 2020. So the previous year, what was the whole income for the year? Here, 576 million. Let me zoom in a bit for you guys here. That was their profit US dollars for all of 2020, which is good. But for 2021, just the first quarter, 1.1 billion US dollars. So a massive, massive growth there from them. It isn't just double the previous quarter, it's double the previous year. So all of the 4 quarters before that. So hence, there's excitement about coin, and we are, of course, going to look at the stock price here and see where that fits in. So price at the moment sitting at 342, which gives us a revenue multiplier of around, I think it's 19.5. If you are a believer, if you are a bull on Coinbase. And what do I mean by a bull? If you think that Q2, Q3, and Q4 will each be as marvelous as Q1, as in, 1.8 billion revenue and 1.1 billion in profit per quarter. So the company would make 4.4 billion in profit over the year. And what is 1.8 times 4? 7.2 billion US dollars in revenue over the year. If that is your point of view, that is what's going to happen, then this would be a revenue multiplier of just 19.5. And I'm going to make this a bit bigger so you can see it here. And how do I get there? Well, I basically take the 19.5. You can see it here. So we take the market cap, we divide it by the number of shares. After I added up all the shares, including all the options, including all the warrants, including all the convertible stuff, including all the future employee options, all of that is thrown in here, 408 million shares. And that's how we get to that number. And the 19.5 basically gets us that figure. The 19.5 is basically revenue, which is here in column B, revenue for 2021 times the multiplier. Now, you're saying, well, that's meaningless to me. What is 19.5? Well, to give you some comparison points, we haven't got another crypto exchange or brokerage or whatever you want to call it listed. Therefore, we have to look at other industries that are perhaps similarly causing excitement at present. Tesla is sitting at 20 times revenue multiplier, NEO at 23, ChargePoint at 42, Workhorse at 1,250. So that gives you some idea of where we are. So we are, I'd say, half the valuation in terms of revenue of ChargePoint, with a business that is much, much more profitable. 70% EBITDA margin. ChargePoint can only dream of that. They're never going to get there, in my view. So that's my bull case here, essentially. Now, if you are bearish and you think crypto is going to fall off the face of the earth and they will only manage to double the 1.8 billion revenue from Q1 over the whole rest of the year, so a pretty average, pretty miserable Q2, Q3, Q4, then to get to 343 would be something like actually perfectly here. It would then be a bear case of this one here, what I'm highlighting here. That would be your 39 times revenue multiplier, in which case I think it would be fair to say that Coinbase would be rather expensive. Now, I'm of the view, I'm actually rather bullish on this because I do think Bitcoin is going to continue to fly this year. I think whatever regulatory risks there might be down the road, I think the government is going to take it their time. They're a bit slow. There isn't a federal regulator for crypto in any way, shape, or form, so no one's really going to be particularly responsible for this. I think they'll get there eventually, but for now, there isn't that. So therefore, 343 doesn't seem all that expensive to me, I must say. And it is for that reason that I'm going to buy some on Monday. Now, let's look where I'm going to buy it. So what can we see here? This is basically each little chart or each little bar represents 15 minutes of the trading life. As you can see, we started up at, sort of 400 or so, 10, and we came down, we crashed down as low as 309 down here, and we put a line in there. And then we found some support, I would say, on the next, sort of around 319. We very briefly dipped to 317, but that was really only very, very briefly here. And that was a support line then. And then since then, we have basically had a rally upwards. So at the moment, we are basically, let me draw a little channel here. We are in this trajectory here. That is the pace the direction we are moving into, which would, on an average, and at the moment we're slightly below that average, bring us to sort of 360 or so within the next couple of days, provided we continue in that trajectory. Now, momentum down here is basically gave us a buy signal on the 16th of April at 2 p.m., which was here. Where I put in that vertical line there, and you can see it is basically telling us to do that, and it's staying up there. So at the moment, momentum looks very positive. One thing I think we are going to start seeing much more is that it will move more with the Bitcoin price, and I'm putting that on here in orange in the background. That's the Bitcoin price, and well, you can sort of move that a little bit, and then you can see it a bit more clearly. Now, of course, we've only had a very, very short time window, but I think you can already see there is some correlation here. When Bitcoin fell off from 63,000 down to 60,600, that is that drop here that I'm pointing an arrow at. You could see, where is my arrow? Here is my okay. My arrow's struggling to show itself. Here we go. You see that drop there. So that had an impact on Coinbase, right? You can see that Coinbase went from 330 down to 320. And I do think we are going to start seeing that correlation fairly, very strongly. Why? Coinbase does not make more money because Bitcoin goes up, but people trade more the more Bitcoin continues to rally. And they make 90% or more of their money, I think it's 95% of their money, from retail investors like you and me buying Bitcoin. Yes, they have 7,000 institutional investors on their systems, but they pay a tiny, tiny margin, whereas we, retail investors, pay a rather high margin. So all of their money essentially comes from people like you and me. And therefore, if Bitcoin drops, the volume typically also drops because people are a little bit, what's going to happen here? We're going to wait, we're going to sit it out. And new people who want to jump in, maybe just wait a little bit till it rallies again, which is illogical. One should buy when it dips, not when it rallies. But that's besides the story here. I do think that's going to be the correlation going forward. So do watch out for the Bitcoin chart. I think that is going to be a pretty good indicator for Coinbase. I'm going to place a buy order here. I'm hoping to get in that sort of 340 mark. I think that will be a pretty good deal from my point of view. Always make sure you do your own research. As always, this is not financial advice, but that's what I'm going to do. And of course, I'm going to share my trades with the community, as I always do, over on the Patreon. So I encourage you to join our Discord and Patreon. You can get there through the link below. At the moment, we still have this special offer here, the same benefits as the $23.95 tier for just $15 a month. That is 50 cents a day, which really isn't all that much. And you get a fantastic research-based community. You get all of my research, all my digging, all my modeling, all my benchmarks, all the things I put out every single day. So you can, of course, get full access to all the Patreon backend here. So do check that out, guys. Just dip your toes in it. I think you will like it. And either way, I really appreciate you watching thus far. Make sure you smash that subscribe button and join this beautiful community one way or another. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. And let me know what you think about Coinbase. If you have any questions, if you have any disagreements, you think it's overvalued, undervalued, what you are doing, share it with us down below. I'd love to hear it. I love to see it. And I read all the comments, guys. Thank you very much for watching.